Hey everyone, today we're going to chat about health and fitness. And before we hop in, I just want to mention that I know this can be a really sensitive and tender topic because everybody who's watching this is in a different situation, in a different season, has a different experience with your body, with food, with exercise. Maybe you grew up an athlete, maybe you grew up hating athletics, maybe you were the girl who loved gym class, maybe you were the girl who hated gym class. Maybe currently you have a routine that you love. Maybe you wish you had a routine, or maybe you don't have a routine at all. What I hope is that this meets you where you are and it is encouraging for you as we head into 2024. And I know you're probably already thinking about goals for the year. Maybe you've made some goals for the year. And what I really hope is that this encourages you to do it in a way that feels good, not in a way that does it because you are ashamed of what you did or didn't do last year or in years previously. So let's hop in together. I'm really, really excited to share. I am super passionate about this topic, and I'm going to share with you why as we get into it. So here we go. My name is Paige Farr, and I love the Lord so much. And I spend my life being a wife, being a mom, and being a health and fitness coach. I actually work primarily online with women all over the country, but I also actually teach classes at the YMCA. I teach boxing every single Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. So if that interests you, I would love to see you there. I am so passionate about health and I am so passionate about fitness and nutrition because it really has changed my life in a really, really big way. Before I get started and share my story, though, I would love for you to just reflect. I hope that you have a piece of paper near you, a pencil near you, and I want you to just brain dump, okay? It doesn't have to be this beautifully written out thing. I want you to just write down what are the common narratives that come to your mind surrounding your body, food, and exercise. And I want you to be as honest as you possibly can be. Like like brutally honest. Um I would like you to actually pause me right now and maybe set a timer on your phone or something for 5 minutes. And I just want you to jot it down. Even if it is scary, even if it is negative, even if it's something you're embarrassed that you say about yourself or to yourself, I really want you to write it down. Pause me and do that right now. Okay, I assume that you did pause me and you took that time to do that because it's going to be really important to kind of bring it all together at the end. And I really want this to be a personal thing for you. This may or may not be exactly what you expected when I said that I was going to talk about health and fitness. Maybe you were looking for like a quick fix of like, man, I really want to lose 20 pounds. What's this like secret sauce that this girl has that she can share with me? And what I'm most passionate about is your mindset surrounding these things because I actually think it's the game changer when it comes to actually feeling your best and glorifying God in your body. So, I want to start by telling you a little bit about my story. And that's why I asked you to think about yours because I think it's really important to know where you're coming from in order to make progress. So, for me, I actually have just recently kind of realized where all of this came from, but I used to be extremely obsessed with being as small as I could be. Like all I wanted to do was be skinny. And I am the girl who's never actually like struggled with my weight. I've never been overweight, but I was still very obsessed with it and like fearful of gaining weight. And I know for me it started when I was in high school. I was an athlete and I can remember my diet was like a typical high schooler, like soda and Oreos when I would come home from basketball practice and people would say like, you're not gonna do that forever. Like you better be careful. You're gonna gain all this weight. And I just had this fear implanted in my head that when I left high school, I was going to gain a bunch of weight. And that is when my obsession started with counting calories, reading the backs of any labels that I could get my hands on and making sure that I was staying within this calorie range. And I was miserable. I'm not gonna lie. I was a runner because it was the only thing I knew how to do. And I had a very toxic relationship with my body, with the things that I would say about it, with my eating habits and all of that. And that pretty much lasted from college until early on when I got married. Um, and in 2017, I started to learn way more about actual health. I had been married for a couple of years, and I started to really dive into what it meant to feel my absolute best. And at that same time, I actually started helping other women do the same thing. So I took a couple years and I grew so much. I changed so much. My mind changed so much. It was really incredible to me how much I went from being obsessed with being skinny to kind of being obsessed with just feeling really good and kind of breaking free from really the obsession of being as small as I could be. I wasn't working out just to prepare for bikini season anymore. I finally learned how to work out consistently throughout the whole year instead of just working out from January to June, to prep for summer. Like it really became a lifestyle and part of my life. And then a lot changed when I became a mom in 2020. My habits remain the same, but I became really frustrated with my postpartum body. I am sure most of you can probably identify with that. But I just was really insecure about the changes that happened throughout my first pregnancy, and I was very frustrated with what I was left with. I was still working really hard. I was still working out, and I even lost like most of the weight. But I was just so kind of obsessed again with getting back to where I was pre babies. About that time, I picked up a book called Breaking Free from Body Shame. And if you relate with anything I've said so far, you literally, again, need to pause me and go buy that book on Amazon because it actually changed my life. It is by the author Jess Conley. She is a Christian woman and it will change your life. Like, I have no doubt about that. It was so helpful for me. And ultimately, through my entire journey, I've just become so passionate about helping other women break free from the chains of being obsessed about our bodies. And I love helping women feel really good. And that comes from a change in your mind, in your nutrition, and also in fitness. But I'm just going to be honest with you that probably the hardest part of all of it is the work that you have to do in your mind to be consistent and really grow from those old toxic habits or mindsets. And those are probably very deep in you if you're anything like me. Those stories, those narratives that we believe come from friends that we spend time with. They come from maybe our moms or our grandmas, things that they said to us as we were growing up, or even the media, TV, commercials, movies, just things that we've heard our entire lives. And probably a lot of us right here have grown up really in the same generation, and it really was toxic. Like if you watch some of those old movies or old commercials, like a lot of it was really pushing that narrative that we needed to be as small as we could be. And it really took a toll on all of us. I really think it did. So that is my story in a nutshell. And here's what I've learned most, and what probably, if you take nothing else from this, I want you to remember that you are made in His image, literally in God's image. I'm actually in Genesis right now, my own personal, like studying the Bible. And it really stuck out to me this time when I read it that like God created all of these things. I don't remember the exact order, but He created light and dark, and He created the sea and the sky, and He created animals. He created everything. But we are the only thing that was created in His image, and we have to start there. I know how hard it is to like look in the mirror and tear yourself apart and just have these narratives in your head, probably many of them that you wrote down. But if you actually want to make a change and you want it to be a consistent lifestyle change, and you want to start feeling good, and you want to start exercising consistently, and you want to start making good choices with your nutrition, it absolutely cannot start from a place of disliking yourself and hating your body, and shaming yourself into changes. It just doesn't work that way. It has to start from a place of knowing that you are so valuable, that God made you in His image and He sent His Son to die for you. Like that is the value that you have placed on your life because of who made you. And if you can start there with your health and fitness, everything else changes. And I feel like so often as Christian women, like we have these goals, or we think about exercise, we think about nutrition, we think about diet. And when I say diet, I mean what you eat. I don't mean restriction for like a short period of time to lose weight. We tend to take God out of that, as if he doesn't care about this area of our lives. And I've been so encouraged over the last several years that God actually cares so much about this part of our lives. Not in the same way that maybe we were taught to care about this, not in the same way that maybe you and I naturally care about this, maybe like in the vain way, or like he doesn't care if we're skinnier, he doesn't care if we're more fit. But I absolutely think that he cares that we take care of the bodies that he has chosen to dwell in. Like that is a big thing when you think about it, that the Holy Spirit of God dwells in these bodies. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But another verse that really stuck out to me recently, I think it's in Mark. I should have put the reference right here, but it's the love God and love others as you love yourself. Love the Lord your God. I'm losing it right now. You can look it up, but it says love others as yourself. And that struck me because I think a lot of us are so caught up on kind of making idols of taking care of other people that we forget that we have needs too. And it is not selfish to take care of yourself. In fact, as I was reading this, I was like if we were loving other people the same way that we love and care for ourselves, how much would we be loving them? If we talked to other people the way that we talk to ourselves, if the internal stuff in here came out and projected onto other people, how loving would we be? And so many of us right here have so many responsibilities. We are wives, we are moms, we are friends. Some of you are single moms. And if you are not taking care of yourself, it's going to be really hard to take care of other people. It just is. It is okay to spend time taking care of yourself, exercising, eating good food, even maybe eating your lunch before you give your kids lunch so that you can feel energetic and you can feel ready to take on the role of serving other people because you've taken that time to fill yourself up, and then it's the overflow that you can serve other people. I want you to know that Jesus made a way, okay? The gospel impacts everything, literally. When Jesus died on the cross and in 3 days when he came back to life, that moment in history impacted literally everything. And I mentioned before, I think a lot of times we take this little area of our lives and we assume that it's like separate of our faith and it is separate from God, but it is absolutely not. I realized that we, like, especially as women, I think, I mean, I obviously can't speak for men, but thoughts about our bodies and food and exercise and just the way we look in general, they can really consume our minds and they can cause us to be selfish when we are so insecure. It can cause us to only think about ourselves and not think of other people. And I just need you to know that the power of the cross, the power of what Jesus did, influences this area of your life. That when Jesus died, and came back to life and purchased your freedom, it includes this area. You do not have to live insecure. You do not have to live a ball and chain to the food in your pantry, to Oreos, to chips, to alcohol, to whatever. Like when he died and he came back to life, he literally made a way for you to be free. And that does not mean that instantaneously, like everything's going to change. It takes a lot of hard work. I can't hide that. I've worked so hard on my mind and my body and my spirit. I just have. It takes so many repetitions. It takes so much repeating truth to yourself. But if you really want to feel good and you really want 2024 to be a different year, you want to make this a lifestyle, you want to exercise consistently, you want to eat well, you need to include God in this journey. And I'm going to pause really quick because my computer's about to die. I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice. We're good. So, as I was saying, your journey with health and fitness is not separate from your relationship with the Lord. And if you are wanting to make changes, bring it to Him. Literally, bring it to Him. He knows. He knows what's going on inside of you. He knows the struggles. that you've had in the past. He knows the things that you're saying to yourself, and he wants you to be free from that. I can guarantee you that. I've experienced it myself. Okay, so let's get to some practical stuff because I know that's probably what you were expecting when you heard that we would be talking about health and fitness today. So I was thinking, I'm like, okay, what simple things could I tell other people to implement that actually have changed a lot for me, but they're not overwhelming? Okay. Number one, you have to be drinking more water. And I'm just going to raise my hand and tell you that I'm telling this to myself too. On this list, drinking water is the hardest one for me. I don't know what it is. I just don't love water, but I know that it is so impactful. And a lot of times when you're reaching for snack foods, you're actually just thirsty. It's just the truth. So if you want to make a water goal, aim to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water. So that means if you are 150 pounds, you're drinking 75 ounces of water a day. Start your day with a glass of water, drink water all throughout the day. Number two, move your body for 30 minutes a day. I literally don't care what you do, but it's a really good goal. And for me, I say a day, but I don't exercise actually 7 days a week. Usually it's 5 to 6. So it can be anything, okay? Any form of movement is a good form of movement. I've actually heard it said recently that sitting is the new smoking. Having a sedentary lifestyle where you're sitting on your butt all day is doing absolutely nothing for you. You are losing energy by sitting still all day long. And I hear it all the time that I'm too tired or I don't have enough time. And I'm just going to be honest with you. If you do not have time to carve out 20 to 30 minutes a day to exercise, to move your body in some way, you are too busy. Like this is a life or death situation. You truly need to be taking care of yourself. You really, really do. So, a couple options that I wanted to throw out there. Number one is the Body app. This is rated the number one fitness app in the world. It's amazing. It's so good. It's actually the app that I use. There are thousands of workouts. There are nutrition plans. There's mindset work. It's amazing. And if you need help with that, you can contact me. I didn't actually put my contact information on here, but maybe I can send it and somebody can email it to you with this. Second way is walking. It is the most underrated form of exercise, you guys. I know right now it's cold, but you can bundle up. Number one. Number two, you might have access to somewhere indoor like the Y. There's the walking track up there. You may have a treadmill. I know you can buy walking pads on Amazon for pretty cheap. Walking is super underrated. Number three, pick something fun like pickleball. Like there are so many different options, but my husband and I just got into pickleball very recently, and it is such a good form of exercise. Find something you like to do. It doesn't have to feel like a traditional, like lifting weights or HIIT workouts or something. The most important thing is that you actually enjoy the thing you're doing. And for me, variety is huge. I don't want to do the same type of workout over and over and over again. I think 6, 7 years ago when I struggled with this, I was just a runner. That's all I would do. And I got really bored. I don't want to do the same thing every day. And honestly, it's good for your body to mix it up. Maybe you like lifting. That's a great form of exercise. Maybe you want to try body boxing with me. That's my class at the Y. It's Wednesdays at 9:30, and there are lots of other classes at the Y too if that's something that you're interested in. Whatever you do, make sure you enjoy it and make sure you're in tune with yourself when you need to make a change, that you shift and you make a change. And I would say, especially if you are newer to this, make your goal 3 to 5 times a week. 3 to 5 times a week, get that movement in 30 minutes a day. Number three, this one's huge for me. Eat breakfast every single day. I know you've probably heard it since you were a little kid, but it truly is a really important meal. And it is not okay to skip meals. It's just not. You might forget. You might be doing it on purpose. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it is the fastest way to feel miserable, feel exhausted, and actually sometimes gain weight if you're not eating enough. You really need to prioritize eating early in the day. And if you're going to prioritize something in the morning, prioritize protein and carbs. Okay, I could have a whole different presentation about carbs, but you do not need to be scared of them. Okay, carbs give you energy. They're a good thing. I eat potatoes literally every single day. I'm not joking. Prioritize those two things in the morning. I do a lot of breakfast bowls personally. I'll do potatoes, I cook them in the microwave, just like chop them up, microwave, then air fryer, and then I do eggs, veggies. Sometimes I'll do, like this morning, I had salsa chicken in it too. Like, don't be afraid to eat. You need to eat to feel really good. And then the fourth one is to aim to eat mostly real slash whole food and reduce highly processed food. Processed food is box stuff. Okay. So a good rule of thumb is to shop the outside of the aisles in the grocery store, because that's where your real food is. That's where your meats are. That's where your vegetables are. That's where your fruits are. The more you can eat real food and the less you can eat processed food, the better. Processed food is filled with chemicals. It's filled with junk. It's filled with sugar. Now, do I eat some processed food? Absolutely. We all do. But your diet needs to be more real whole foods than that. And then the last one is prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. I know this is difficult, okay? But you need sleep. Your body will not function as well as it can if you are not prioritizing going to bed. You have to have a good amount of sleep to feel really good. So these are the 5 things that I would implement today if I were you and I needed a starting place. Okay, I have a few mindset swaps for you. I don't know how long I've been going, but I'm going to try to speed it up here. Okay. Your mind is a powerful thing. Okay. You literally, God designed your brain to be able to be trained. You can literally renew your mind. And because of Jesus, like, this is possible. The power of God lives inside of you because of what Jesus did. Okay. Believe me, you can retrain your mind. You can grow in these areas. You can keep reminding yourself of truth. Okay. So mindset swaps you need to make today. Screenshot these. Okay. Write them all over your house, whatever you need to do. Eat less needs to be changed to eat more of the good stuff. Okay. The more you tell yourself that you should eat less, or tell yourself you can't have something, or just shame yourself about the food you're eating, the more food you're going to eat. Instead, focus on eating good things. Focus on filling up on lean protein. Focus on eating more fruit, more vegetables, more healthy fats. Don't tell yourself, oh, man, I need to eat less of that. I can't have chips. I shouldn't have this. I shouldn't have that. Eat more of the good stuff. That one swap helps me so much. Second one is stop saying I should or I can't. A switch that has really helped me, especially like when I'm working on certain goals, is I can, but do I want to? Dessert's a really good example of this, because we come into the new year, we came off of the holidays, and we're like, okay, I really got to get it together. I should not have dessert right now. And you're shaming yourself about that. And instead, the tiny swap of I can have that brownie, but do I want to? Pausing and telling yourself that is so helpful. You have the freedom to have it, okay? You can, but does it support the goals that you have right now? The next one, I'm too big. Raise your hand if you've ever said that. Like, yeah, I've said that. I've looked at a picture and I've thought that. I've looked in the mirror and I've thought that. And you have to start telling yourself that your value is not determined by your size. Now, you might be listening and you're like, but I actually do need to lose weight. Okay, but still, that is not a helpful thing to tell yourself. I'm too big will never be helpful. You have to start reminding yourself that your value has nothing to do with your size. You can work on losing weight and have a positive mindset while you do it. The next one, I want to be skinny. Again, raise your hand if you've thought that. Same. But instead, swap that to like, what would being skinnier, what would losing weight mean to you? What do you want to feel like? So start telling yourself, I want to feel strong. I want to feel energetic. I want to feel capable. I want to feel like the athlete I was in high school. You're switching all of these negative mindsets to positive, which is really going to help you keep going. Nobody hits goals by consistently being mean to themselves, shaming themselves, and saying negative things every day. You have to swap all of these to positivity. I can't to I can. Literally, you heard this all growing up. You heard it if you were an athlete. You heard it in school. Like, your mindset is everything. If you say you can't, you won't. If you say you can, you likely will. Next one, I don't like veggies. Same. Like, veggies aren't my favorite. I would rather have other things, but you can hide a lot of veggies in a lot of foods. I hide spinach in so many meals. So many. There are so many vegetables that you can sneak into your meals. Maybe I can come back another time and tell you more about that. And then the last one, kind of said this already, but desserts and fast food are bad. Whatever it is that you struggle with, that you're like, I'm always grabbing for that and I know it makes me feel bad, You need to tell yourself that you can have it. You can have anything in moderation. If you cut out whole food groups, if you cut out sugar, even like completely, you cut out desserts, you're not going to survive it. Like, you're just not. I hate to tell you, like, that's not going to last forever. The only thing that's going to make you feel good is doing this in a way that you can actually sustain it and you can enjoy it. And cutting out potatoes, cutting out dessert is never going to be the way that you can sustain it. Again, going back to that, I can have this, but do I want to will probably change everything for you. Okay. Again, you're going to pause me. Okay. You, at the very beginning of this, wrote down your current narratives and beliefs about your body, about exercise, about food. This one's probably going to take longer. I want you to pause me. I want you to take as long as you need to. You might not even finish today, and that's okay. But I want you to rewrite every single thing you said and root them in truth this time. Speak truth over yourself because it matters that much. You have to have a positive mindset rooted in the truth of what Jesus did. If we're being honest, like the power of Jesus lives inside of you. It truly does. And you have been transformed because of that. You are being transformed because of that. And God is good and he is faithful to bring this work to completion in you. Like, he really is, but it is going to take work on your end. So pause me, rewrite everything you said, put a positive spin to it. So when you start thinking it, you can say something different moving forward. Okay? Pause me and do that. The last thing I want to say, you can do this. Okay? Whatever goals you have ahead of you, you really can do it. I know that. I've seen so many women make progress. I've seen it in myself. It takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of dedication, but it really, really matters. And I was reminded this week by my son that this is something so normal for humans to just have to continue to learn. And it's a lot like teaching our kids. Okay. So I know if you're a mom of a kid that's 2 or older, you've probably had this conversation with your son or daughter. Okay. My son comes up to me. He goes, I need more milk. And this is a constant thing that we're working on. And I say, is that how you ask for milk? And he says, no. And I say, can I have some more? Can I have some more milk, please? And he says, can I have some more milk, please? And I go to the fridge and I grab him some milk. Later in the day, he says, can I have some milk, please? And I say, Brooks, that is such a good job. Thank you for asking me that way. Of course, you could have some milk. Later in the day, he comes to me, he goes, milk. And I say, is that how you ask me for milk? And he looks at me and he says, milk. And I'm like, if you want milk, you have to ask me in a nicer way. And he says, can I have milk, please? And this is a reminder that just as our sweet toddlers are being trained day after day and how they speak to us, you are about to be trained day by day on how you speak to yourself. And little by little, you will see the fruit of your work. Just like by the time I'm sure several of you have children that have grown, and at this point, they would never demand milk from you. They are always asking sweetly for milk. Or maybe you have grown children who obviously like know their rules and manners now because you trained them that way over and over and over again. This is the same work you're embarking on right now. If our toddlers can learn to speak to us in a new way, surely by the power of Jesus, you can learn. You can learn to speak to yourself in a new way. You can learn that exercise is not about shame and guilt. You can learn that exercise can be worship. You can learn or unlearn that you are not chained to food, that food has no control over you, that you can make good decisions and you can speak in a new way about all of those things. It will take time. It will take practice. It will take intentionality. But if you embark on this journey and you start retraining your mind in 3-4 years from now, yeah, I'm just going to be honest, it's going to take a while. You're going to look back and you're going to think, oh my goodness, like my mind has been retrained. I don't think that I'm too big anymore. I'm able to speak truth to myself. I don't think that I'm going to go exercise to burn off food anymore. I truly enjoy exercise because it feels like worship and it gives me energy. Like before you know it, like it's going to happen probably faster than you think, that your brain really will be made new. But you have to take the first step and please bring it to the Lord. Say, help me. Like I'm really struggling here. And you guys, it is a journey worth embarking on. So if you have any questions or you need anything from me, again, my name is Paige Farr, and I will send my contact information with this. So go, be well, be healthy, chase health, chase freedom, and I hope to see you soon.